Hi everyone, Ann Olson here, and I am here with my Quiltmagine and my Knolting Pro. We are working on, this is part two, we're working on setting in designs in our sashing here, these little uprights, and then the long border or long sash across the sides. So yesterday, or well, whenever you watched the last video, the part one, we played around in Pattern CAD and we fixed the design so that it wouldn't have an extra line to connect it to the next one because we're not connecting. I want it set as a motif. So today I'm going to go into Select and Sew, and let me go back out. I always save my custom borders and things in a folder I have created, and you can do that by just hitting New and type in whatever name you want for your new border or your folder that you create. So I've got them in here, so you double click to open that folder. Now we saved the long border or sash as, I just called it one set two. I use the ones and the twos over and over again because they're change size. So like the next quilt I do, if I want to use that same design, it's going to be longer and I'll have to resave that design for that particular quilt. So here's this design. That's saved right there, but I'm going to go grab the little upright. It is under, whoops, I just passed it right here, leaf multi-single. So we're going to grab that design. Here it is, okay? Wait, you say, it's facing the wrong way. That's okay. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to use the reverse and I'm going to turn it. Okay, now it looks really funny, right? But that's okay. I am going to use the 4 points here. They're gray right now, and we're going to set it. Now, I like to use my 1/4 inch foot, and I'm setting it inside so that I do not have to worry about it over stitching if the lines aren't exactly straight. I want it to kind of be a motif so that it's set inside that area. So I'm doing a 1/2 inch here because binding is going to come along. So I'm a 1/2 inch in there. So, and then a 1/4 inch using the foot from the seam line. So now we're going to hit the gray button. And if you'll look at the screen here, I hit that first gray button and it moved the whole design just as it is over there. I'm going to slide over and hit the other corner, and I'm a 1/4 inch away from both seams, and I'm going to hit that. Now it shrunk it in, and it's the right size that we're going to be using, except it's not the right length. So now I'm going to hit that corner again and see how I'm coming a 1/4 inch. I'm using my foot as my guide. Now I'm going to hit that, and I'm coming over here. We're going to stay down and 1/2 inch in. All right, and there it's set. Now I want to turn on, because I'm in here, I want to turn on multi-placement. So I'm going to hit that, and yes, we want to hit multi-placement. Now it's gray, and so we want to turn it blue. So I'm going to say, I'm going to hit the pattern button. Now it asks me, would you like to place this pattern again? For purposes of illustration, I'm going to show you right now what happens if we say yes. Oh, look, it redid it and it's turned it. Okay, so now I've got to go back over here and turn it. Whoops, I went too far. Let's undo. Okay, so now I turned it. Now I'm going to go place it. I'm using the 1/4 inch foot as my placing. And here we go again. We're placing it, using all 4 points to get it exactly where we want it. Okay, so now it's placed, but don't go moving and doing another one until you hit the pattern button. When it turns blue, that's what it's going to stitch out. This time I'm going to say no. Okay? No. Now it's still there. The 4 points are still there, but they're not gray. But that's okay. I've placed that pattern. I'm going to go all the way over, because for me it's going to be easier to know which points go where if I go to this point first and move it, and then move this one and bring that one over. See how it's moving the gray outline? There's our design.
Because every part, every one of these is not necessarily exact.
Exactly. And you can, well, I don't know if you guys can tell it, but I can tell it. This leaf here is narrower than that leaf. Okay, so that's part of why you set each one individually, and why I also give a little bit of cushion in the design so that it sets in there. Okay, I hit the pattern, it's turned blue. Now I'm going to say no, because I want to go set it again, but I don't want it to change the way the direction of the pattern is. So I'm placing my 4 points. Okay, I like to go all the way around when I place those because it's just easier. And I hit pattern, it's got it, and I'm going to say no. Now let me show you, just because of um, I did this. It's okay. So say I go to that one first, watch the screen, and okay, now it's twisted it. But that's okay as long as you go up here and hit your same one that you were on. So either go clockwise or counterclockwise to make sure that that flips back over. Okay. So, but it's okay if it messes up and puts 2 points. Like say you have this happen. Let me show you what can happen if you accidentally get 2 points in their same place. See how that is, and I can't tell which is which. Just go off the block, hit it again, and it'll move one over there so you can figure out which one it is. It's not the end of the world. It's just you got to play with it. Okay, so we're going to save that pattern. Now, do I want to place this pattern again? No, I've placed all my uprights. They're there, but we can go back to select pattern and go grab our long one. So there's my long one. I'm going to grab it. Okay, see, it shows it. Now, on this particular quilt, I've chosen to have them alternate. So this one's going this way, the leaves are pointing this way, so I put a pin there. The leaves on this one, I want them to come this way. So I use a pin as my marker. So I've got my pin going that way, so I know the direction's going to go that way. I'm going to move that pin that I had up there here and have it point this way so that I can have my design go back and forth because I like that look. So in order to get my leaf design, because it's pointing to the right, I want it to point to the left, I'm going to use the flip buttons. Those are right here on your screen, and I'm going to flip it over. Okay, now it's pointing the other way. Awesome. I can take my pin out of the way. I'm going to put my pin over here to the side just so that I know that that one pointed that way. Normally you could see it, but because this thread matches this backing or the sashing fabric so well, we can't see it once it's quilted. So that's part of the reason I'm using those pins, because I can't tell without it. So now we're using the 4-point placement, and we're doing it again. Putting that design in there. Now on these long ones, if your sash waves a little bit, because, we all have wonky piecing a little bit. You might want to use and do this design separately by itself so that you could use fabric compensation if you have the gold, and then you could make adjustments so that it wobbles along and fits your design if it's needed to. All right, and we're going to say no because we have everything set on the screen ready to stitch out. And so I'm going to say quilt. Everything's blue. I'm going to say quilt. Okay, now there's all these funny lines with blue dots. Those are jump points. In my case, I do not want them to stitch from there, but it's showing you what it's going to do first also. Here's our green one. It's going to stitch this first. Then it's going to come do the long one for some reason. It's going to jump all the way over there and do the long one, and then it'll come back and do those. So we're going to get you started here. We're going to come all the way over. I want those cutoffs. So we're going to let it stitch out. We're going to say pull bobbin. It's going to go to the first one and move. I'm going to pull up my bobbin thread. I prefer usually to do it automatically myself instead of using the automatic function, which I think you change in your settings. Yes, right here, automatic bobbin pull. You can turn that off. I have mine off because I don't like it to pull automatically. It's too slow. So, okay, so now I've got my needle bobbin thread pulled up, and I'm going to say sew. And it's going to move to the spot. I have it set to do 4 stitches. And off it goes. Now it won't take very long to sew just this little bit. Okay, now it has finished. It's going to take its tie-off stitches. And then I'm going to use pull bobbin because I want to release the carriage. Right now that carriage is locked in. I want to release the carriage and pull up my bobbin thread. So I pulled it away. I grabbed my top thread. I'm going to take one stitch. There's my top thread. I can come in there, cut that. And then you can come back and either bury your threads or however you deal with your loose threads. And then it's going to want to move to next. Now, you can hit move to next. In this case, it's a long ways away, so it's going to show me where it's going, and I'm going to move closer because otherwise, it takes it a long time to move over there. So we're going to tell it, okay, we're closer to it. It's going to move into position. I'm going to take a single stitch with my red button, pull up my bobbin thread, and then I'm going to tell it to sew. And off it goes. And so that's how you set in those blocks and have it stitch out a custom sashing for you. I, on this quilt, am going to come back and actually hand do the blocks because it's got cute little animals in it. And so I don't want to stitch over the animals. And that'll be faster than trying to program something in.
Explain about freeing the belts up.
Okay. Right. It's not a problem at all. What I would do, I'll leave everything on the screen, but I just go and I loosen my belt on the horizontal. So that's this. I just loosen this belt, and then the one that's on your carriage, I loosen that one also.
Right here.
And it's just a matter of loosening in a, 1 inch, 1.5, whatever it is to give your belt room. Right. And then you freehand, and then once you're done with the freehanding, you can come back and do this. In this case, I am leaving I'm doing all the computer stuff first and just leaving these. This is not a big enough space that I have to base it or anything to worry about. So I'm going to go all the way through, do the computer, and then come back and do all the...
So you just roll the quilt back then?
No, I'll start at the back.
Okay.
Once I finish, I'll start at the end of the foot of the quilt, and I'll go ahead and do the freehand stuff on the way back up. So that's part 2. It's doing real good, stitching it all the way across there.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.